Okay, so your man here is dried, so let's get on with what was I going to say? Oh, highlighting. Yeah. So we're going to be taking our Runefang steel. Well, it's not fully dry yet, I've noticed. Okay, but for the most part, the places I'm doing, it's dry enough. And we're just going to touch over the edge of the casing for the ammunition for this, and then around the ocular, right, and a quick dry brush like that, and there. See, it looks different already, doesn't it? And we'll also do here. There we go. And that's that for the metal. Short and sweet like a roasted maggot. And now we have the next part, which is his eye. This is the part I'm not really looking forward to. Seriously, I'm not looking forward to it. I don't like doing eyes. If there's any way that I'm going to mess this up, it's with doing eyes. So what you don't want to do is have his eyeball going all the way down to his skin. You want that little bit of shadow detail and flesh tone there, because if you do it all over in white, it looks as though he's incredibly surprised. And I don't really know how Ogryns work, but they don't look the kind of characters that would surprise easily. Oh yeah, Screaming Skull, and just on the top tip of his tooth and down the side there, we want the Screaming Skull, and then the same with the other teeth. Again, you don't want this going down to his lip or his gum. The next bit of highlights I want to do is mixing, but there's still a bit of the Agrax Earth shade that's wet there, so I'm not going to touch anything there yet. So I think that at the moment is all I can do. I think I may be able to just give the sign of the Aquila. Well, it's not the Aquila, is it? It's a skull. Aquila's the double-headed eagle. I can give this a little bit of a brighten up. There we go. I really don't know best way of doing eyeballs. Irises and pupils, that is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold that very tightly. I'm going to try and lock my hand I'm going to try and do as best as I can to make it look as though he's got an eyeball, and he doesn't look as though somebody's just gone jumped up out from behind a tree and gone boo. Okay, we want a very small amount of paint on the brush for this, because this is the part where we do the pupil. It just needs to be going right. Okay, I think that will do. What I could do, I suppose, while I'm here, is get his hair done, which is just simply the, is it bestial brown? Yeah, the bestial brown dry brushed on top of the rhinox hide that I put on earlier. There we go. And I'm going to do his lips and rhinox hide as well. Doesn't seem to have much of a top lip, but his bottom lip is there. And when this has dried, I'm going to go over the top edge with a mix of this bestial brown and the screaming skull. There we are. So again, I think I'm going to have to leave it for a while longer before I can come back and do more. So I'll see you when we've sorted. I've put the Ogryn on a stand. The Agrax Earthshade seems to be drying rather nicely. I've painted the underneath of it, which I couldn't get at because of the because it was stuck on top of the paint pot. So I'll go over that with the Agrax Earthshade later once the top part's dry. I'm not bothered about underneath as long as the top part's dried, okay. And that's looking a hell of a lot better now, do you not think? How does his eye look? I think what I might do is change that from white to the... No, I'll leave it, I can't be bothered doing anything more to it. Eyes are one of those things you can either do them or you can't, and I tend to not do them on the smaller figures because they don't really need to be done. But I know some people do like doing them, but as it's still wet I can't really do, well, it's not wet but it's not dried fully, I can't really do much else. So again, I'll be back when it's dry. Well, it looks as though it's dried, so let's get cracking. Okay, so first of all we'll get the Tallarn sand, which we used for his t-shirts. Get that, and we mix in a touch of Screaming Skull just to lighten it. more. That looks better. Now we don't want a great deal going off on it, we just want, as usual, a very light dry brush technique over the top. There we go. And the same at the back. Just wipe a bit off on the cloth. Yeah, and here as well. Next job is to highlight the skin area. So basically do the same thing again, only this time with Ungor flesh. But again with Screaming Skull. This gives a nicer, I think it gives a nicer mix when you're trying to make something lighter than using pure white, because the pure white can sometimes be a bit too stark and change the colour a bit too much, as in changing red to pink, if you get my drift. There we are. Not much to it, is there? I also said I was going to do the same thing with his top lip. However, I think what I might do is just use some of the paint that's actually there at the moment. Instead of just mixing up a fresh colour, we can use this because it's not going to be much of a difference in colour to what we've actually got on ready. Well, it's just that we need just that touch to bring out the light part on the top of his lip. There we are. Now, the fun part. We have in his right eye an ocular device. We can do it simply, or we can do it quite fancy. I've decided, surprisingly enough, I'm going to do it quite fancy. So what we're going to do first of all is with, is it Scab Red? Yep, Scab Red. We are going to fill in that area there with the Scab Red. I've actually gone over some of the metal parts which I didn't want to do, so I'll just have to go over that again when I finish doing what I'm doing. So we'll wait for that to dry a little while, and while we're waiting for that to dry we can get the Elysian green out. That can go away for a few seconds, we don't need that as yet. And what we're going to do with this is just on the edges of the shoulders, we're just going to run it down, and on the flat bits that's facing directly up. or almost directly up. Oops. There we go. There are actually several marks on this to make it look as though it's like splintered, scratched and badly damaged paintwork. So what we can do is go over these with this colour to bring it out more and give it like a more of a 3D look. I hope you can see that. See better there. There we go. Now I'll go back to his eye. And what we'll do here now is just go over the middle area with blood red to make it stand out that touch more. Now that bit's done, I will get the Runefang steel, that's what it was, yeah, the Runefang steel out and go over the outside area of that eyepiece. And I've gone into the red with the, oh, I can't wing with this, can I? What I'm going to do is I'm going to mix it all in again together. Try and get rid of some of that metallic colour, if not most of the metallic colour. And there's always a way, when you make a slight mistake, there's always a way of correcting it. Well, usually there's a way of correcting it. Right, what I'll try and do again now is that's what I wanted to do in the first place. There we go. So next, we know both reds are dry because I've just gone over with the water, and the red directly in the centre is still there. So now we can get the blazing orange, and we just want a dot on the tip of the brush, and we're going to go there we are. Hope you can see that. Okay, next we have the final part, which is just to highlight his mask, and for that we used, if I remember rightly, Balor Brown, and I can find the right one. And again we just need a touch of that with a touch of the Screaming Skull. We don't want much of the Screaming Skull this time, we just want a tiny amount because there's not much that we need to do with it, but we still need to lighten it. And there are slight colour differences or shade differences between the colours, so you can tell which parts are going where. And this we're just a bit there that I noticed earlier which I should have done, which I didn't. So I'm just going to do that now with the highlighted colour. And that needs to be just gone over with that colour as well. That can stay in the shade, that part there. And there you have it. One Ogryn. It's just the fang. It's not a big deal, it's just I think this way might be better than just using grey. So that's done, but I just need to, it's no biggie this one, it's just I've missed something as per usual. So I'll get my tanner and sand out. And oh yeah, so when that dries I can go over with the flesh, not the Ogryn Earth shade, and just darken that bit up a bit. So that's it for now. Job done. 1 down, 9 to go. There's the Ogryn. Hope you liked the video. Until next time, take care, God bless, and bye for now.